I got it. So, a big hello to all the viewers today, and welcome to another enriching session of dLife. I'm Pramila Mundra, the host for the day. I'm a nutritionist with Masters in Food Science and Nutrition, and I run my own health clinic in Bangalore. And I would like to say gladly that in my professional journey, I have been able to handhold and support a lot of people to their journey towards good health and also weight loss journey, which has been most probably a combined struggle of determination, inspiration, and commitment. Well, dLife is such a wonderful platform which is doing amazing work in this area. I'm enrolled with the dLife Low Carb Nutrition Diploma course and also a premium member of dLife. To know more about dLife, you could also head to their website www.dlife.in. Now, I would also like to add that dLife has been having an amazing resource of almost 250 success stories and a great resource of 1,200 recipes which are Indianized low carb. dLife has been initiated and formed by Anup Singh, an engineer from IIT. Very recently, Anup Singh and dLife has been awarded the Icons of India Award by the very reputed group Outlook for pioneering low carb in India. Well, for anybody who is looking for more knowledge on nutrition or probably seriously wanting to pursue nutrition as a career, dLife Low Carb Nutrition is a wonderful suggestion, I feel. And I must say that once you head to their website and their platform, it's an amazing community, especially for those who are looking at resolving diabetes, obesity, any metabolic disorders. dLife is a wonderful platform where a lot of members are active and there are excellent guidelines on low carb and keto rules. So, anybody who is looking at or aiming for more information or looking at healthier lives, I must say that you should visit their site. Well, now before I welcome our guest for the day, Mr. Peter Lobo. Mr. Peter Lobo, thank you for taking out time to be with us today. Well, Mr. Peter is a very interesting personality. He started his career with Taj Group of Hotels. Later on, he moved to Oman, where he was running his own restaurant. And now he's settled in a very beautiful place named Kalimpong in West Bengal. Isn't that very exciting? Well, but what does he do in Kalimpong? I think let me keep that as a suspense and let me allow him to talk more about that. But before we go further into his journey towards good health, I must say that Peter Lobo has an amazing story of initial struggle with diabetes, many years of struggle with diabetes, and then later on, with the support of dLife and low carb nutrition, he was able to amazingly drop his insulin levels in a very short span of time. Now, to know more about this journey, I welcome Mr. Peter Lobo for today's session. Hi, Peter.
Hi, thank you all for inviting me on this platform. Indeed, it's a great platform that we are in here. Well, let me
So, I
start a
would
little
want
bit
you to
about my.
start with introducing yourself and what exactly you do in Kalimpong.
Well, I run a company known as All India Birding Tours, and I specifically lead trips to all over Northeast, Bhutan, and many other places in Asia too. And right now, I'm basically from Goa, so I've settled down in this beautiful place in Kalimpong because I love this place because of the climate, because of the people, and because, of course, of the fresh air, of the air too. So
Right.
I'm here for quite some since I'm here since 1996, and we have built our own place over here. So I've completely settled down. So Goa is just another option for me sometimes on a holiday.
Okay. So I understand that you were detected with a kidney stone and uh, a few other health issues. How did you get to know about this?
Oh, well, the was a kidney stones was very interesting. That I had got some pain on my backside, getting pain. So that was the first ever health issue which I have faced in my life. Besides that, there was no other health issues which I ever faced. So I
Okay.
went for a checkup, and the doctor says that you need to do certain tests. So when he did all my tests and I went to him for a review, he told me, well, he was quite an elderly doctor, Dr. Chatterjee, I remember very well. And of course, I regret that what he told me that time, I didn't listen to him. So he told me that, Peter, more than your kidney stone is you have to take care of your sugar levels. I said, what's my sugar level? He said, your sugar level is 130 that time, and 130 on fasting it was. So I thought to myself, I'm so physically fit. I do so much of trekking and so much of exercise and all. So this doctor is not talking sense. He's talking. It's not at all. He's talking sense. So I ignored him. So of course, I ignored him, and then I went ahead, and then unfortunately, the kidney stones came out by a friend of mine offering me beers to drink. And after I drank 6 beers in the whole day, the kidney stone did come out. So I had no issues after that.
Right. But
Then
what did you do about
suddenly,
your sugar levels?
pardon,
What did you do about your sugar levels then? What was the medication
I
given?
did nothing.
Okay. So you did
I
not
did
start any
nothing. I didn't
medication.
take any medication. I did not start on anything. I just, ignored it. That's
Okay.
where a big mistake which I had done, which I regret, and I tell people that whom I see the sugar levels up, I said go on medication or do some diet or do something now. I keep advising people, don't uh, be what I have already been through.
Right. I think once we get a warning, we need to act upon it as fast as possible.
Exactly.
Right. So, what exactly did you do next? Like, when did you finally realize that it's getting worse, and when did you act?
Actually, for after a couple of years, maybe in 99 or 2000, I think it was 2000, is that when I decided to do a full body checkup in Apollo, Delhi. So Dr. Amrish Patel or Amrish Puri, something, he's a well-known doctor. So when I went there, then they saw that my sugar levels were pretty high, and that time I was pretty new to to the word diabetes, and I didn't know that what exactly is this all about, whether it is curable or not curable. I was so ignorant. Means I didn't read. I never went into all that literature. But of course, I knew my mom and her father were diabetic.
Mhm.
So I knew that. Then doctor told me it could be heredity. So I said, okay, heredity. And then in my family, my both brothers had it, and my sister didn't have it. Even my younger brother, who was very young, who's now just 43, he had it about 10 years back, diabetes. And he's on heavy insulin. He lives in England, but he never listens to me. When I tell him that to go on a low carb, he's on insulin twice a day. So he never listens to this. I'm still trying to convince him to get better. So that's the time I realized that my sugar levels have to be controlled. So doctor gave me medicine as usual, uh, and I started on medication from that time. And then uh, slowly, I realized that because I'm always on a trips here and there. So when you go on trips, your food eating habits are not controlled at all.
Right.
Because when you're at home, you can control them, but when you're out on a trip, you could not control. Of course, I could control them, but I never knew how to control.
Right. So, did you get any recommendations, food recommendations from the doctor?
Oh yes, it was a huge recommendation, which frankly speaking, I hardly went through at that time.
So, what exactly were they? What was the core of it?
The core of is not that to spread your meals and to eat 5 to 6 times a day, in little portions, and little of everything, and less of oil, all that, all those type of things.
So that's the probably the sad part of it, that it's exactly the opposite what has been told to be done.
Yes, 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 yes.
So as time proceeded, how did you find your sugar levels and health going?
As time passed, every 6 months I would go for a full body checkup. And then when you go for a full body checkup, you get your 3 months H1ABC, whatever it is, and then you also get your cholesterol levels, and you get this, you get that. So sometimes it's plus minus here and there. So according to that, doctor would change the medication. I would go on a medication. So this would go continuously for 6 months.
Yeah. So what
So
was your HbA1c around that time?
that time it would be, for example, around between 10 to 12 sometimes. It depends. If it is, to be frank, if it is Christmas time, then I'm sure it would be very high, because I'm a Christian, and then we have all these parties and all going at home.
So in spite of
So
that, doctor was telling you to have frequent meals, small frequent meals.
yeah, small frequent meals distributed.
So
And then of course, doses of medicines have been changed, and names of medicines have been changed. Like the last medication which I changed, I was using Galvusmet, which I left, and now I'm following what low carb has advised me.
right. So we also understand that you had an experience with a vegan program somewhere in Pune. So how did you experience that? We would like to know about the food protocol. What exactly did you go through?
Okay, let me tell you first how I went through it.
Right.
It went that I went to in February 2020, it was that I went down to Nutia Hospital in Siliguri for a full medical checkup,
Mhm.
because usually I used to do a full medical checkup just before going on a trip. So so that I would know that how can I control myself, yes or no. So when I went there, of course my cholesterol levels, everything was okay, but my H1
HbA1c.
yeah, was 12.5 or 12 something. And also they found ketones in my uh, urine. So when I went for the final review, the doctor told me that you should get immediately admitted immediately in the hospital. So I said, why? He said, you got ketones, and this is very dangerous. You will collapse, or you might. So I said, I'll go to Kalimpong, and I will get admitted in the hospital. He said, only you might not reach Kalimpong, he said. So I was like completely scared that I'm fit, all my tests are okay, except this sugar thing is a problem.
Right.
So I called up a friend of mine who's a commandant in Siliguri in the army hospital. So he's a good friend. So I called him and told him, sir, so is the thing. He says, send me a report. He took all my reports. He says, I don't think uh, it's a it is that serious, but I think you should take a second review with another doctor. I will advise you. So the next day he took appointment with me from another doctor. This doctor was cool. He says that okay, everything, nothing to worry about. I told him I'm going on my trips. So he says, anyway, you have to get on insulin. And he told me that you have to take insulin in the night, start with 5, 10, and then check your sugar levels. And that according to that, increase it, or late, or if it is going down, then decrease it slowly. So for me, like when I went, I found my sugar levels going down. So I started eating more. So I started feasting more. And then my food was like royal rice, chapati, roti, anything, all the carbs which I
Carbohydrate.
used to get, carbohydrates I used to get. So I went up and up and up. And then gradually my insulin intake, I had to take more insulin, more and more, till I reached about nearly 50 points. Plus I went on that. So then I started distributing the insulin into two parts, in the morning and in the evening. I take one in the morning, and then after 12 hours in the evening. And so then I could not, then after that in March 20 or something, yeah, March 20, the lockdown came in. So when lockdown came in, I thought to myself, why the hell I am every time going on insulin? I'm sure that there has to be some way out of it. So I went on all the internet searching for all this stuff. And that's how I came across this vegan program in Pune. So of course there was a it was a good thing to start on, and they told me that you have to go do this. First of all, you have to have a smoothie, which is made out of all greens, one major green and two little greens and cinnamon powder and a lot of stuff you have to have in the morning on empty stomach, and then after that in the evening, after that one in the afternoon, one in the evening, and in between there was a very strict diet that you had to go on a complete gluten diet. So the gluten diet was in the morning, that either you have to have anything made out of lentils, made of lentils, and one vegetable along with it,
Okay.
and one salad. So this is in the morning. Afternoon was one small katori of rice, then one katori of dal, and one katori of vegetable, one small katori, and one katori of salad.
So
Now, in
vegetables.
that case, if you want, yeah, vegetables. So in that case, if you want to eat extra, if you feel like eating extra, again you have to measure the same thing in it. So if I want a one katori more of rice, I have to follow the same protocol of more all completely. So
So
I
wouldn't
started on that. In the
very
evening
troublesome?
was more or less
Yes.
pardon.
I said, did you find it very troublesome to
Say
follow?
again. I didn't get you.
Yeah. Did you find it quite troublesome to follow it, or were you okay with it?
Yes, I found. I was initially I was okay with it for days, and then I'm a strictly veg person. Of course, for a few days, veg is okay for a change. Of course, there is no non-veg available. I can switch to, but where there.
Hi. Okay, so we had connectivity issues from Peter's side at Kalimpong, being a hilly area. We are trying to resume connection with him. Peter, can you hear us? Yeah, Peter, are you with us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can. Yeah. So we've
Yes,
decided
yes.
to keep the video off because of the connectivity issues in Kalimpong. So yeah, so Peter, you were telling us your experience with the vegan program.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was
So
asking whether it was
I was telling you that,
to follow. Yeah.
yeah, it was quite, actually, in the starting it was good, but later on it was very hard to follow for me, because everyone in my house used to have uh, what you call non-veg, and I was the only person without not having non-veg.
Right. Apart from that, how did you feel? Did you feel yourself satiated? Were you how were your energy levels with that?
I was not feeling too good with energy levels, though I was losing weight, and though I had already started reducing insulin slowly, but it had not, it was not at all that effective on me. So I basically I started that program in June. So July, August, September. By September, I had joined low carb.
Okay, so what made you exactly leave the program? You said you were losing weight.
No, I was losing weight. I was not at all happy with the diet, and also I was not at all happy with a very strict regime which they were following.
Right.
Like daily, every time, upload your sugar levels 4 times a day, and then a certain type of exercise you had to do compulsory. It was like I felt myself forced in some some jail or something. Like I was not feeling free to do
It
what I
was
wanted to
like a
do.
punishment.
Yeah, it was like a punishment, completely punishment.
And still your sugar levels were quite high.
Yeah, sugar levels were high. There was just a small, not much difference. It was in my sugar levels at that time. It was not much difference of my sugar level, and I was really struggling. That my basic thing was to get rid of my insulin, because pricking those needles every day was like a torture for me.
Exactly. And with so many challenges and with so much of discipline, still that was not achievable.
No, not at all, because it was not achievable. Because see, I used to walk that time at least 14 kilometers a day, and especially I used to skip. I used to do so much of activity. I'm very active, because one thing I forgot to tell you, that I'm a qualified NIS boxing coach, and also I participated in I forgot to tell you that before. I have represented national 9 times in boxing.
Wow, wow, that's so interesting to know with all this wildlife and
Yes, yes,
traveling foodie. That is really amazing.
right, right. So then, with all such a so much, so I was not satisfied with that program, not
Right.
at all.
So you could feel that something is missing or something is going wrong.
Something is going wrong. I was not happy. Means I was not happy for the fact that I didn't know what could be, what is the exact answer, because I was like, I thought this program would have been very good, and then I realized that no, it is not good for me. Maybe it is good for someone who's very strictly vegetarian, or
Right.
who can follow that regime, but it was not for me.
Okay, so then what next did you do?
So the next thing I did, I went again back on the net. This time.
Okay,
So again, when I went, and this time then I got dLife all the time coming. So I
finally.
went to, yeah. So then again I went uh, thoroughly to dLife, read a lot of stuff and all, and then I said, "Wow, this low carb seems to fit me, because I love non-veg, and of course I can stay off carb, and uh, and I think I can eat what I wanted to eat." So
So,
that's how I enrolled myself.
so when was this?
I think this was in September last year.
September last year. Okay.
Yeah, and the moment after the moment I enrolled, and when I started on my journey for low carb, I found that my sugars level with the low carb was just vanishing, just going down, zoom, 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 like like anything. So I lost no time. That okay, today my sugar levels have gone down to 140, so let me reduce another 5 units of insulin.
Yeah,
So
it
then,
seemed magical, yeah?
yeah, it was magical, and then it gave me a motivation.
Right.
It motivated me to go more. Means to follow that diet very strictly.
Yeah, I think when you see results, you definitely are motivated to do
Yes,
better.
yes, yes, and especially you can eat what you want to eat.
Right. So, what exactly did you eat? What are the key changes you made when you came into D Life Low Carb program?
Yeah, when we came into dLife local programs, there was so much of information which is on the forums. So it is not that you have to exactly copy what is there. You have to just get an idea what is there, and then you have to fit yourself into it. So I started in the morning with eggs, which
Okay.
I was very happy. Of course, I was eating less eggs, then taking less protein than I should have taken. So I started with 4 eggs and 5 eggs and then 6 eggs. And eggs for me to make it different preparations was no problem at all. And after 2 hours, I would take my sugar like today. I after my breakfast with eggs, I took my sugar just to be on this show. It was 114.
Okay.
So 114 is, I'm a happy man if it is 114 because I know that I am safe.
Right.
And then after lunch, just before I could I was at came. So after lunch, it was 124.
Okay.
So
What was
so
your
it
lunch
is.
like? What was your usual lunch then?
Oh, my usual lunch was some nice grilled chicken and grilled chicken with I you know but I used to always like to have a cucumber or a salad which is not with rich dressing, just
Mhm.
with salt and pepper. That's
Okay.
it.
So there would be protein and vegetables.
Yes, yes. Vegetables, just a cucumber. We have uh, what you call the cucumber which you get in Kalimpong is a completely different cucumber. It's only grown in this time of the year,
Okay.
and it's very tasty.
You would get still a lot of other options for low carb vegetables there, right?
Yes, yes, yes. We got plenty of options here. When we Another thing is that we get a lot of organic stuff here. We
Oh,
get a lot of palak. We get the local mustard leaves that are known as raisag, and then of course carrots. It seems that I should not be taking any roots growing under, but in limited or something like that. So I don't take that stuff.
yeah. But then this
So
variety of vegetables helps you to spice up your diet, right?
oh yes, yes, it does, it does. And not only that, I mix a lot of herbs like mint, parsley, and other herbs which I have grown in my rosemary, and I have grown in my home itself. So I just toss them all with this and makes every time a different
Yeah. So
dish for myself.
it would be quite tasty and interesting, contrary to what a lot of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Contrary to frankly speaking to the vegetarian diet which I was having before. Of course, I'm not against it, but it was not my cup of tea.
Yeah, because when people usually hear low carb, they really get overwhelmed, and a lot of people are even very scared to try it.
No, no. I decided that I would try. I would see for 1 week, but within 2 3 days, I saw my sugar levels dropping down drastically, and it happened. And the greatest example was that I could be the most thrilled person to give up my insulin.
Yeah, and I think you gave up your insulin a very short span of time.
Yes, yes, I did because then I went very drastically, controlling my diet and eating strictly low carb.
Yeah, like it was almost like a 50 units drop of insulin
Yes, 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 yes.
in how many?
Almost. I did not. That's the thing I did. That when people ask me that how, actually I don't remember that how much, but I knew that sometime I would drop it to 10 units, sometime I would drop it to 5 units, and then continue for 1 or 2 days, and then again drop it. It was like that.
So when did you finally get off total insulin? How many months did you take?
I think I started in September, so I think by end of October, I think I was finished off with it.
So it's just barely 2 months.
Yeah, I still have two insulin thing kept in my fridge just for, it reminds me that I used to take it.
Right. So did you let your doctor know about this, and what was his reaction?
No, I never let my doctor know about it because uh, I didn't feel the need to do so because many of my medicines I'm off of it. I'm just off on just a very few medications, one or two.
Right. But didn't you want to inform him that what he exactly recommended to you was very different than what you
Well,
actually did and what worked?
well, well. I would do that, but only after the COVID when I go to meet him personally.
Right, right. Yeah, I think right now it's very important to stay safe. But I think a lot of
Yes,
doctors, like the doctor who consulted you, I think that's
right,
that is truth that people are ready to go on diets. People are ready to make changes, but I feel they are
right.
not getting the right information.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Like people, like I've been to many doctors, and most of the doctors, like, they'll tell you everyone has a different opinion and everyone has a different way of telling, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat this, don't eat that. But here the low carb, that you have to get the feel of it, the how to go about it. Once you get the feel of it, go about it. It's not that now. I've seen that in that you have to count so many calories, so many things. I don't think that is necessary at my stage, at least, that I need to count so and so. I need to know that how much I have to take, how much my body can take, so I take account of that. Like I was listening to a very interesting the last YouTube couple of days back by Shashi and Dr. Tanmoy. It was very interesting, which they were talking that we take protein. It's just many people just take three eggs, whereas actually you have to take six eggs to get that type of protein.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's
because
a
they
people
say
are
that
taking less protein.
right, right. Yeah, because if you undereat protein, then you tend to overeat either fats or a bit more of carbs.
Exactly, exactly. So what I would go to say that if you take a lot of protein and lot of carbs, so that's what your body goes for a, for a toss, because I think too much of carbs is actually you cannot, it shoots up your sugar like anything. And I think that with this low carb diet, it's actually giving some relief to your pancreas too.
Yes, actually, your body is overworking, right? Most of your organs are
Right,
overworking with this.
right. And another thing I also forgot to tell you that before, that when I came to low carb thing, when they advised me that I sometimes do a fasting of 1 or 2 days. I
One,
do fasting. Yeah,
okay. So,
1 or 2 days.
1 or 2 days
So
means 48 hours?
yeah, 48 hours I do. Like that, some like now what I've decided, like when I'm going out somewhere and I know that I will not get so and so to take, so I start my fasting.
Okay, so is
And
it
that
like a
helps.
water fast?
Pardon?
Is it a water fast?
Yeah, water fast. I just do a water fast. I just do, but the fasting which I do something else. I I take chia seeds, 1 or 2 teaspoon of chia seeds,
Okay.
and put it in warm water and allow it, and I was to drink that with a little rock salt. That's it.
Any
Just a
black
pinch of
coffee?
rock salt. And black coffee, of course, I black coffee, but I'm more tea drinker, so that's why.
Yeah, I think a lot of people depend on black coffee or tea
Yes, yes,
to get
yeah,
through long fast.
yes, 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 yes.
So how did you feel after this whole not only just the drop in sugar levels and getting off insulin, what other effects did you see in following a low carb diet?
Okay, following a low carb diet, I'll tell you, I had a lot of joint pains,
Mhm.
especially on my wrist and my ankles, and I used to get a lot of cramps
Okay.
and all this. So this was either because of, maybe because of high sugar or whatever, which I could never diagnose. But it is it was very good for me later, because later suddenly I realized that going on this diet, everything had disappeared.
Yeah, so it's actually
I
like
didn't I didn't know actually where it, how it went off. It was went like a silently it went off. I don't remember it, how it went off and how it went off. But I remember that I used to have a tough time in the night sleeping. And
so.
and another thing, it used to before, it used to make me very lazy. Now is, and I had to have a sleep of 2 3 hours in the day. But now it's not, that is not the case at all. Like I don't know at all that how I'm keeping awake and I have extra energy in myself.
Basically it's like the body is healing and we are
Yeah,
able
exactly.
Yeah, we are much more productive and much more efficient.
Right, right.
So, do you still follow your LCHF diet and do you take any other supplements with that?
Oh yes, of course. I in between for few days I had left it, and then I realized that again my sugar levels were going up. So I then realized that no, I should not leave this, and I should stick to it. And of course, some supplements I take. I take this fish oil capsules I take, and then I take an multivitamin, one tablet multivitamin, and that's it I take. And of course, D3 I take. I've already taken the course. One tablet I've taken for, I think, for 8 weeks, and then after that, once a month I take it. And my D3 levels are very good now.
Okay. And what is your HbA1c like now?
My HbA1c right now I have no idea. The last one I did it was in January, and after that was when I the thing which I was taking was it was 7, I think 7.25 or something from 12.
Okay, so from 12 it came down to almost 7.2.
Yes, yes. Actually, I cannot go to take my test because I live away from the town. Going down, going down to the town, and for a thing, it's not good during this COVID time. So only after COVID gets over, I will take all my tests again.
Right, right. But still, to know that, after so many years of struggle where, the
Right,
efficiency was almost like 11, 10, and
right,
drastically within a span of few months to come down to
right,
level of 7 is amazing.
right.
And how about your,
Because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, please continue.
no, no, tell me.
Yeah, so I would also wanted to know how about your lipid profile or any other health parameters apart from your joint pain, which you're talking about?
Uh, lipid profile. My lipid profile is fantastic on from my last January, and according to, I don't know, somebody on the dLife had suggested me. I think it was Arun or Sashi or someone suggested me to not to take any cholesterol tablets anymore. I was taking cholesterol pills
Stop the
to
tablets.
yeah, I stopped them long back now.
And did you get to check your triglyceride and cholesterol levels?
Yeah. I was I did try to I did get to check it later on, and they were absolutely fine.
Yeah. So right now you're not on any medication at all except the supplements.
No. I am on gluconorm. That is the one which they had suggested. It's gluconorm. I don't know what's the other name of it. So I right now I am on it.
Okay.
I can just tell you. Yeah. He
Is it
just
metformin?
Anupa just put a yeah metaphor.
Metformin? Okay.
Yeah, that's what he was suggested to me by low carb by dLife, and
Okay.
I'm happy about it. They told me to play along with it, so I'm playing along with it.
Wonderful. So probably now you are much more experienced in, tweaking your medication as per your food and your daily intake.
Yes. The best thing is that I'm quite happy about it, because now when I go to test my sugar, I see that it it is good. And another thing is that like the day that there was a day before yesterday, I went to towards someone's house, and then they literally forced me that you must have one katori of rice at least. Of course it is. So I did have a katori of rice, and you won't believe me, when I came back and I thought my sugar would get high, so I waited for 2 hours in suspense, and when I went, it was 124.
So I think this is
So
the main thing
so
we
I
need
was
to,
happy.
yeah, people, that once we are off carbs, how difficult it is because sometimes people really don't understand what's the impact of that one katori rice or a fruit.
Right,
You know,
right,
as we say that all the fruits are natural and it's healthy, but
right,
especially diabetes,
right,
because all sugars are not differentiated by how it is metabolized. So I think the key message is to get to them that uh,
Uh-huh.
sugar in any form and anything which finally turns to sugar, any form of carbs, wouldn't be
Right.
acceptable or good for the body uh, to keep your sugar levels stable.
Right, right. And another thing which I do, which I started doing, of course, of my own, again, it was suggested to me from dLife only,
Yeah.
is to, after every meal, after 40 minutes or so, to do stair climbing up and down. So I religiously started that. I do stair climbing in the morning. I do about 300 steps up, and I do another 300 in the evening. Plus that, I do my regular walks too,
Okay, so
and
this is
that's
after
how.
the meal.
Yeah, this is after, I think, 40 minutes, 45 minutes after the meal to do.
And did you find any difference in your sugar levels?
Yes, yes, yes. I think that is one of the good things which is happening to me, means getting my sugar levels down.
Wonderful. So I think you are all set with the right advice now.
Right, right. Yes, yes. I am quite set with the right advice, and of course, thanks to dLife for it.
Wonderful. So it was wonderful having you with us, Peter. What key
Right.
message would you like to give to your viewers today?
Oh well, I would like to give to my viewers today is that for me, I've never been on any program on a podcast regarding my diabetes. This is the first time I've been. I've
Mhm.
been only in this because I'm very happy about it, and I've seen the changes because of low carb, which has happened to me. And after joining dLife, I found that it is a very good platform for people who want to go on low carb, because there you get a lot of information, and there's so many people like Arun Singh, Anup, Shashi, and everyone who are there to guide you the right way. It is not like a strict doctor's medication or prescription you have to go through. It is just an open forum which you get through, and you can discuss all your uh, problems there, and they get back to you.
Wonderful. So I think that was an amazing story of how with D Life support, Peter's health has been recovered, and today he is much healthier, much happier, and with diabetes under remission. I think what else could we ask for in such a short span of time? So now I would open the session to any questions from the viewers now.
So anyone can unmute and ask.
Yeah. You could either type your questions in the chat box, or you could just unmute and shoot the question.
Fine, Peter, I have a question. So what is the blood sugar reading you see as of now with the glucometer at home?
The glucometer which I see, like I told you, like this morning after breakfast, no, in the morning, this today morning when I took on fasting, it was 91. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was 91, and then after today after breakfast I did was 114, and then today after lunch was 124.
Fine, fine. So this really corresponds well, and in all my probability, I think this would correspond to an HbA1c of probably 6 or 6.2 max. I think so. Probably
Yes,
once
yes,
the once you are able to visit lab, you will be able to get the
sure.
HbA1c. However,
Right, right.
the home readings are very encouraging, which shows a very good average. Probably you are going to get a very good average numbers, and anything less than 140 is really encouraging. So
Right,
congratulations,
right.
you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that also shows that, if somebody is quite disciplined with low carb and keeps a track of their protein and vegetable content, you are bound to get the results.
Right.
So any more questions for Peter? Anything
Yeah, Peter, do
Yeah.
people notice a difference in how you look now?
Oh, yes. Everyone, you know what people tell me? People, people who have seen me for a long time, they ask me, have you been sick? Of recent.
Yes.
And I tell them, no, I don't want to be sick. He says, oh, you have lost a lot of weight. Actually, I should have uploaded a photograph of mine, how I looked before.
yes, I think we need a before after picture.
Yeah, I will. I can send you a photo which you which you can, it is between a group of people or something like that. I don't have a single photo, but you can see that how much weight I've lost. I've literally lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, I think people in India are like overnourished people. They think as soon as you've lost the weight that something is wrong. You've been sick in some way.
Yes.
And they want to, that's the first question they ask, so
Right.
have you been sick?
Yes.
So when they see you like this and you tell them that you're healthy, do they then ask how you have become like this?
Yes, I tell them how I've become like this. Many of the people really don't believe me. They say, oh, you only eat meat, eggs, and all this. I say, yes. They said, but that is, you'll get heart disease, you'll get this problem, you'll get that problem. And of course, you'll become more fat. How come? I said, no, it is. Then they tell me you must be using some medication to lose weight. I said, no, I'm literally strict on my diet. And that's how I've lost weight.
So the interesting thing for me is to know how they react to when you tell them that you are eating very low carbs, and do they understand what carbs means, and do they understand how low and how you deal with that?
Like they also do understand that that I'm having low carbs, but they are not getting to the fact. They only think that by having low carb and only protein, you're going to fall even more sick. Many of my own relations. Of course, my wife was very hesitant first before when I started this, and she saw me losing weight, and she told me that no, chakkar aa jayega. If you don't, I said there's nothing like that known as chakkar aa jayega. I've read that people have been on fasting even for 30 days, kuch nahi hua. Nothing happened.
Yeah, I think that's a mindset which, especially in India, I feel that when they see us losing weight fast and not eating carbs,
Right.
very difficult for them to accept that that's a healthy way of eating.
So I'm trying to get my head around how they react to not being able to eat carbs, because carbs are so much a kind of hardcore eating pattern of ours, which we've been doing for so many years, for decades, So how do they react? Do they kind of give up this particular diet, even though they see the difference in you, that they don't want to, they can't deal with or cope with not having carbs? What?
Right now, I have not seen anyone who has gone on a low carb diet looking at me, because they say that we cannot give up rice, we cannot give up chapati. For my instance, myself, that if I wanted rice, I could not eat little rice. I wanted a lot of rice to eat. So to sacrifice all that, it took me some time to get down from it. But I was very determined to get rid of my insulin. So that's what made me motivated me that I have to do. Today, I'm not at all. In fact, today if there's rice or pulao, anything, I'm not at all. That hunger. Don't have that hunger pangs for it anymore.
I think the magical thing about low carb is that when you have enough protein and healthy fats, you actually don't crave. It's not that we are trying to restrict or we are trying to deprive. I
Right.
think the desire itself is not there anymore.
Yeah, the desire is not there, and of course, what actually is happening, that I think everything is in your brain which is signaling you what to do, what not to do. It's
Correct.
I think when you get to low carbs, it takes some time for that for those old signals to go away. That's what I feel. I don't know how far I'm right about it. That for those old signals to get out of your system and to adopt a new, completely new system in your body.
Yeah, and
That's what I feel.
lesser carbs we have, the major change is the lesser carbs we have. uh, we can definitely avoid that high and low, the sugar crashes which happens, after the
Right,
high carb meal and then the crash, and then which actually it's a vicious cycle which makes us a craving to eat more.
right.
So the moment you
Now,
go down on carbs and go more on protein, that's the major change which happens, and that is what I think makes this whole meal plan sustainable. Because then you're not. It's not that you're trying to be hungry or you're deprived. You're still enjoying your meals. You're satiated, and still most of your parameters are wonderful.
no, the thing is what's that? What I really felt in this journey of low carb is that I don't know. It may differ from person to person. For me, I used to like non-veg, so I was very easy for me to shift on it. Now, for the vegetarian part, of course, there are on dLife, there are so many options that if you're a vegetarian, what to do. Like when I went to Gujarat, Gujarat was a place where I could not get a single no vegetarian food. So the only thing is that I was able to get eggs, I was able to eat paneer. So all that I followed from dLife. So I was quite okay in that. And another thing, what I feel that when we are already having uh, things there, so many things there, you already are getting carbs, but the carbs only how much that much you need for your body. It is not that you are completely minusing the carbs. I think there are carbs hidden here and there in many things which we
Yes,
eat.
we have it in dairy products. We have it in
Yes,
vegetables.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Right.
Can I just ask, how long do you think it took you to kind of lose that sense of craving for the carbohydrates? How long a period before you kind of thought, yeah, I don't miss them. I don't even think about them anymore.
Okay. For me, it just took me just a week and so to get rid of that. And it was hard. Sometimes I was getting testing that, oh, I'll have a half a chapati or I'll have a spoonful of rice. But then the thing was that my insulin I was worried about. That if I have more, I'll have to again take more insulin. So I was very determined in that stage that I have to give up insulin, and that's what was my motivation.
Very good, Peter. Really good talking to you. Very good.
Thank you.
I think we have Megha who wants to ask.
So, I'm attending this seminar in behalf of my grandmother. So she's taking for the past few years, which not showing any effect.
I think the signal is breaking.
Yeah, I cannot hear too.
Could
Can
you just type your question, Megha, on the chat box?
There is poor connectivity at Megha's end, so she's not able to.
Yeah, I think she's trying to type her query.
It might be too big. That's why probably she's hesitant to type. So meanwhile, if anyone has question, they can ask.
I think Rajendra Somani has a question. I think I can see his palm up.
I think that may be by mistake. So probably.
Yeah, Mr. Rajender, if you can hear us, if you have a query, please feel free to share your query with us.
Actually, he's on mute.
Oh, okay.
So grandmother is taking insulin, but it's not able to, but she's not showing result. Mm, uh, there's a possibility. Yes, see what happens is after some time, people develop what is called as double diabetes, in the sense that not only they have insulin deficiency, but even very strong insulin resistance. So whether it is, even if they take exogenous insulin, that is insulin from outside, there's a possibility that there is a strong component of insulin resistance, and they're not able to utilize even that insulin. So low carb will definitely help, but however, everything depends upon the insulin secretion capacity. If your grandmother still has a good insulin secretion capacity, then maybe we can get her off insulin and keep her only on tablets. Otherwise, alternatively, we can she can be on a low carbohydrate diet, and all the dosages can be less. I mean, even the tablet or insulin dose can be reduced drastically, and at least she will be able to get her numbers under control. So, assuming she's a grandmother, probably her age is also high, so she has been diabetic for quite a long time. So it's a possibility, but she has to comply. But if she has little self-control, then it is going to be difficult. So the person has to be convinced that this will help, and once they adopt this, there is going to be a definite help in terms of blood sugar control and reduction of number of tablets and insulin doses also. Yeah, I hope this addresses your question, Megha.
Yeah, I think she has responded. Is there any other query from anyone? Yeah, because we would
If there
like
are
to
no
end the
questions,
session soon.
if there are no questions, we can as well end now.
Yes. So we would like to thank Peter once again to take out time and join with us today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be with you all and to share my experience. And I hope my experience will help some more diabetic people and some more people to get on low carb and to get on off medicines or off insulin.
Yeah, true. I think and dLife is doing an amazing job here, and I think most
Yes.
of us as nutritionists we are trying to do that to get people into low carb because that's the most challenging and probably with all this confusion of so many diet propaganda being advised with so many other nutritionists and doctors. Sometimes it's even more confusing for a layman to understand what is right and wrong.